what he was saying.
Senator, as you know, the statement from the U.S. Embassy in Cairo was issued before there were any attacks. They were issued because there was concern about protests. Do you know that?
No, I was not aware that it was issued before there were any attacks, but I still think, Nora, you know, it implies that somehow these attacks could be justified by, again, a video that the U.S. government had nothing to do with that came out in July.
But, Senator, forgive me, but that is the point of this whole thing. As the President said, the U.S. Embassy in Cairo issued that initial statement before these protests and way before the attacks in Libya to try and cool things down. The attacks had not yet occurred. There was no apology that had taken place.
Well, it was an apology for a video, again, that we had nothing to do with. And nor if it hadn't been that video, it might have been another video or another photograph or another article that had been written that someone found offensive. And I think that's, again, the appropriate response is that the assaults, the attacks are inappropriate. Certainly, we've now seen that reaction from the White House.
Are you suggesting that President Obama, or is Mitt Romney suggesting that President Obama sympathizes with those who attacked our embassies?
No, what I'm saying is, frankly, what the White House is saying now, which is that that statement was inappropriate. And I think for Governor Romney, having seen that statement, to react as he did is the reaction that most Americans would have, which is that at a time when we have this kind of violence against American territory, the thing to do is to condemn it and not to begin by issuing an apology, again, about a video that we had nothing to do with and is not an American statement in any respect.
There was no condemning the attacks had not occurred. When the attacks occurred, of course the administration came out and condemned that. Let me ask you about some of the criticism from Republicans.
Well, Nora, again,
Peggy Noonan
I would
said,
ask you to look
sometimes
at what
when
the
really
White House
bad
said
things
about that same
happen,
statement.
sometimes when, Peggy Noonan, sometimes when really bad things happen, when hot things happen, cool words or no words is the way to go. Nick Burns, the former U.S. ambassador to NATO, who I know you know well, served under President George W. Bush, who you worked with as well, said, frankly, the charges Romney made were not only completely untrue, but reckless and irresponsible. Mike Rogers, Republican, chair of the House Intelligence Committee. I'm not exactly sure what Governor Romney was talking about. These are Republicans who are saying that Governor Romney stepped in it.
Well, again, what he was talking about was in the context of the assaults, and that's when it occurred, the night before what happened in Libya, but after the assault on the U.S. Embassy in Egypt, that the first statement from the U.S. government should not be making apologies. It should be instead condemning the attacks. It's a pretty simple statement, Nora. And again, I would ask you to look at what the White House said about it later, which is they thought that was not the appropriate response. So I don't think it's all that complicated. I think he saw something that appeared to be inappropriate, because it was talking about an apology before condemning the attacks, and made a statement about it. And look, we're Americans first. All of us are concerned about what's happening, not just in Egypt, but now in Libya, now in Yemen. Certainly, we send our condolences to the families of these brave Americans who lost their lives in Libya. We need to pull together as a country. But on the other hand, when there's a statement issued by the U.S. government that appears to be apologizing and implicitly saying, you know, there must be some reason for this, you know, that concerns us, because what we want to be sure these other governments are saying to their people, and that the message is clear, is that in no case are these kinds of attacks appropriate or justified. And so I think that's simply what he was trying to communicate.
All right, Senator Rob Portman, thank you.